How are we doing?
We're doing well. How are you doing, Miss Kelsey?
I'm doing good. A little tired, but I am making it this morning.
Yes, that's the first thing we were talking about this morning was the daylight savings, the dreaded daylight savings.
Spring forward. It's not the fall back in the fall. It's when we spring forward and lose the hour that is difficult.
Oh, it was rough, y'all. A whole hour of sleep, and then you wake up and it's dark, and then you get in your car to work and it's still dark.
I just couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't get to sleep last night for some reason. Maybe I was excited about today's show.
I was about to say, I know why you were excited about the morning blend. I mean, that's
you should be too if you're tuning in. All those of you out there in Cyberland. All right. So tell us what's on tap for today. What are we doing?
We got a lot. So my printer didn't work today. So we have an agenda, I swear, but we're just going to go by the seat of our pants. But I do want to ask a question of the day. And Kelsey,
is the question of the day, where did daylight savings time come from? Because I just want to say one thing for everybody that has any questions about that. Just one thing. I don't want to take over the whole show. Thank you, Ben Franklin, for your satirical essay on suggesting that we change the time up a little bit. Yeah, that was number one. And number two, this came about, was officially put into place, I think around World War I. There was a need to, I believe it was conserve fuel. I don't have all the facts, but and so the having daylight being seemingly longer throughout, through the trick of adjusting the time, allowed for some of the rationing of fuel. That was World War I, and then they took it away, and then it came back later on. And I would say we're in it now for economic reasons as well, because if you think about it, if it's daylight longer outside, you're probably going to be more prone to be out doing things, eating, shopping, visiting, exploring and spending your money. So I would say that right now it's an economic impact for sure.
Yeah, honestly, Brian, that was awesome. You just had that right off the dome.
45 seconds or less, right?
The knowledge is just amazing. Yeah, that daylight savings, that was rough for me. And, I do get excited eventually whenever we do have more daylight because I can be more productive. Right. And I'm not getting home and it's dark and I just want to go to bed. Like, I'll, go outside, get in the garden, get all ready for summer. So I will be excited once I adjust.
That's
sleep
right.
schedule wise.
About next week.
About next week. So we'll be all back to normal about next week, you guys. Just look forward to that. Oh my gosh. So Kelsey, we usually do a question of the day.
Okay.
Question of the day.
I told Ryan that last week because we had a concert related question, and I was pretty sure I was like, we need to do another one because I had a burning question to ask.
You got like 5 other concert related questions, and so apparently we're going to be doing concerts for a while.
We'll get off it next week, but I just had to ask this question. So, what is your dream concert? And these are the rules. It can be any concert from any tour. Yeah, there has to be rules.
Okay, come on.
Because you just can't say like anybody, So anyway, so here's what so it has to be from any tour in time, right? Like, so if you want to say, oh, I want to see like Elvis and his original first tour or something, like it can be that.
Oh. Yeah. I didn't think about it like that. Okay.
Yeah, so it can be anybody, any tour, and then you can even pick like an opener combo that is like your dream opener combo.
Okay. So I'm a huge country music fan, and George Strait is the king of country music.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I have never seen him in concert. So any George Strait concert, honestly, would be like my dream concert. And then if I had to pick an opener, I would love to see Lainey Wilson open for George.
Yes. Oh, and that's just so perfect because Lainey is just so classic country, and that would pair so well together, like the older and the newer. That's pretty good. Have you ever seen Lainey Wilson?
No.
That's surprising because we're from where she's from.
I know. Well, I remember in high school, she went to Franklin Academy. I went to Tensall Academy. We did sports and stuff together.
Wow.
And she was the Hannah Montana impersonator.
Yes,
she
she
did
was.
it. So like hearing her sing as we grew up, I saw it all the time, but not once she made it big, and now she's a huge country music star.
Well, she comes back a lot, so hopefully one day, you'll get a chance to go see her. And she's so big now. I mean, I guess, we would never imagine she would have been like a Grammy winner.
I know.
So that's pretty cool.
My son, James, he's 10. He has the biggest crush.
I love it.
He loves everything about her. He can say all the facts about her fiance, Devlin, I think, Duck Hodges.
Oh, wow.
Like, he loves Lainey Wilson.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, Ryan, now you're on the spot. What's your dream concert?
Back in the day when Aerosmith was popular, Believe it or not, I was a big rock and roll guy, hard rock guy.
Really?
Yeah. I knew all the hair bands like the Motley Crues and the Aerosmiths and the Bon Jovis and the Poisons and Tesla and all that group. So I would have loved to have seen Aerosmith perform. And for an opener, though, this is going to throw everybody off probably a little bit, but there was a British-based hard rock band around the same time called Def Leppard.
Yeah, no, my mother is a huge fan of Def Leppard.
Yes. So I would have gone definitely, if I could rewind time, I would have seen a Def Leppard / Aerosmith concert.
Yes.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. I never would have pegged you for like a rock hair band kind of guy.
My dad brought a Bon Jovi CD home, Slippery When Wet. That was their third album. This is crazy how I know all this stuff. The things you remember,
Yeah.
Like in my adult life, I don't remember anything.
Well,
but
you're
like
proving you're a
back then,
real
it was like-
fan. Like, you're a fan.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a really, I even forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, I remember sitting down with some headphones listening to his high fidelity audio system because he was such a big, audio buff.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, it was like, oh, wait, this sounds like he was listening to classical music.
Yeah.
But he showed me this and it was like, oh man, I guess like this is my music. And so I kind of adopted it as my music. And whenever you're a kid, if your parents are listening to it, it's not cool, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So he wasn't listening to it. I was like, okay, this is mine. And I stuck with that same genre from there on. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Look, my answer changes probably daily on this. I always think of a new idea of like, that would have been so cool. But to this morning, I woke up and I would really want, and I'm 90s grunge. That was what my dad had showed me like as his big music listener. Because 90s grunge was just like this response to, all the 80s pop music.
So you're talking about Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all that
It's
group?
funny you say Nirvana. I would want to see Nirvana, because tragically Kurt Cobain is passed. And I would love to see them. And then with the Red Hot Chili Peppers opening, like in their early days, that would be really cool.
Okay, first of all, that'd be a fight because there's no way the Red Hot Chili Peppers are opening for anybody. They're their own show.
Like at the very beginning, like of their career, maybe. But you're right. They really are their own show. So maybe a duo show, kind of like you were talking about.
It's apparent that we have not talked about music much because I'm thinking about that era too, and Stone Temple Pilots and Alice in Chains and all that group. Yeah. I know all those guys. You would never know that I know all that, but yes, I know all that.
Yeah. I also love country music too, and your idea sounds like amazing. And so now I'm thinking about like all the country artists I would want to see. So I might have a different answer next week but we're gonna move on from concerts.
Stephanie Wilkes just chimed in on the chat and she says that she would see Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock in 1969.
Woo!
And she said for an opener, flip a coin, but Jefferson Airplane.
Cool. I love it, Stephanie. That's a good one. That is really cool.
Loyal listeners, thank you so much, Stephanie. Please chime in.
Yeah.
Everybody else that's listening.
Oh my gosh. I loved everybody's answers. I would go to both of those concerts with y'all. So just so you know, in case it ever happens, let's go.
I have your ticket. It's all good.
Awesome. All right. So let's get into, we're going to run through news in case you missed it because we have so much to cover. So let's get into it.
Is it on?
All right, you guys. First up, for news, we have our resource fairs. So these come out of the LDCC retention office and student engagement. So this week we have the Tallulah one, which is today from 9 to, well, it's actually happening right now, 9 to 10:30 a.m. And then we have the Winsboro campus one, March 12th, 10 to 11:30 a.m. These are something that have recent years become like more of a tradition at LDCC. And it's awesome because our students get to see local resources that are free to them. That way, if they're in a bind, if they're going through something, if they're not getting enough of a resource, if they need mental health outreach, all of those things come together and they're able to like see them and make those connections so that later down the road as a student, if they need some kind of resource, that they'll be able to have it. And that's why we have them at every campus. So for the next few months, we'll be covering these and telling y'all when they're coming up. And also just taking pictures and celebrating that we have this really cool event.
Yeah, that's a lot of community resource fairs, but there's a lot of resources that are needed for in our community. So we're doing our part.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Speaking of community outreach, LDCC Jonesboro, their advisory board meeting is today from 12 to 1 p.m.
You know, I was a little shaken up about this one because it's actually a good thing. Obviously, we want to support LDCC Jonesboro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming from that direction, so I came from that direction to
Right,
come
from
here for the
Weston.
live stream. And now I'm thinking, man, I guess I need to go back over to Jonesboro to make sure I support him.
You know, there
I was
you
kind of
go.
torn up a little bit with that, you know.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming. You know, you can
Yeah.
stop by Monroe, go back that
Absolutely.
way.
Work there from the rest of the day.
Hey, that's always an option,
There you
right?
go, That's right.
Ooh, yeah. Speaking of today, we also have our OER Student Awareness Lunch and Learn. This is the last one in the series from Logan Cup's tour of Northeast
Wow.
Louisiana.
So what are we
Open
doing
Education
now? Because you're making me
Resources.
have to decide between Logan and Jonesboro. I mean, what the heck, man?
This is a hard choice.
It
What is
is.
going on? But yeah, today, March 10th, plus there's a lunch involved. So I think there's lunch involved both places.
Yeah, you're
so
right. We always do a good job with food. Huh?
Yes.
This
we do.
pros and cons list is getting rough for you, Ryan.
Decisions.
Make sure you sign up and come out. It's open to students, faculty, and staff, and learn about open education resources
All right.
from our own Logan Cup. Tomorrow is for the ladies. The Women's Symposium is happening tomorrow all day.
What a great event this is.
Mm-hmm.
The 9th Annual Women's Symposium. Keynote speaker, Lissy Sanders Compton. Wow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this is great. A co-owner of Mr. P's Teas and Compton Farms of
I love
Louisiana.
Mr. P's Teas. That is
Yes.
so cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we have a lot from LDCC actually attending the Women's Symposium this year. The foundation helped, provide some tickets to those who are interested in going. And so I'm excited. And then we also have our own Darian Atkins, who's being awarded. Well, she's almost not our own anymore because she will have her last official day March 31st. But we're going to celebrate her because she definitely is the LDCC family, and she's getting a really great honor there. So we're going to be there, take pictures,
amazing.
and support. Woohoo! Next, Rustin is going to have a financial literacy workshop. This is a part of financial aid awareness, and that's like an initiative happening for the next few weeks as well. I think Centric Federal Credit Union is coming to do it again.
Yeah, we have some
They-
great industry partners. I know Kelsey can speak to that as well, but the banks is specifically thinking about Centric, thinking about Origin. We've had plenty of conversations with them, and they want to just give back. It's not just about like I want to have my name associated with LDCC in some way, but hey, we want to give instruction. We want to teach people.
Yep.
And so Centric, I know, has been a partner with us for a long time, and they're doing a great service by teaching our students and our faculty and staff too how to be
Absolutely.
financially literate. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And I feel like with each one of these workshops, you always find something new to chew on that maybe you weren't thinking about before, or maybe you knew it in the back of your mind, to save this way or to spend this way, but yet you needed a nudge or a reminder to say, hey, come back to it. Let's do the right thing so that you'll be financially in a better place. So this is a great opportunity. And even if you're not a part of the Rustin community, come on out anyway. This is a great workshop to take part in.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is, and I'm like you. I always find something from something like this to know and to remind myself about, and even just something new that it's like, oh, I didn't know what this fund was that I could invest in. So definitely, we're excited about that happening this week on March 12th. Something else happening March 12th. This is
We got to stop stacking these
busy
events.
week.
I know, it's very busy. I was doing it and I'm like, what all do we have going on here? We have Redefining the Goal with Dr. Kevin Fleming. So this is the educational talk that we usually do in the spring. I think last year we had Mark Perna come and speak to everybody. So this year we have Dr. Kevin Fleming, and I'm going to just read this. Extensively researched, Dr. Fleming deconstructs the prevalent one-size-fits-all education agenda. He provides a fresh perspective, replicable strategies, and outlines proven steps to help students and employees secure competitive advantage in the new economy. So he is going to have a wealth of knowledge to share with us. The educators, the one for educators and I think educators from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then the one for industry partners is from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Isn't that a great feature that we do, right? We get these guest speakers, and we try to encourage everybody from the community to come.
Yeah.
It's not just for us internally, but it's for everybody, because we're paying them to be here for the full day. Why not spread the wealth and spread the love to the community as well, and to our partners and stakeholders? So this is going to be excellent. Shout out to Matt Napper. I want to say he was at the helm with this one to get this one going.
Oh, cool.
And using
Okay.
some grant dollars as well, I believe. So that's a great thing.
Go, Matt. Woo, go, Dr. Napper. Awesome. We also have a club meeting, Delta Christian Fellowship interest
Same
meeting, DCF.
It's the same day.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, it was crazy, and I was like, how am I gonna be at all these events to get pictures? So I'm like working it out, but yeah, it's a very busy week. We'll have a big in case you missed it for next Monday, so y'all get prepared. But at 2 p.m., third floor of the theater, LPB. The DCF is a longtime club at LDCC.
Like some clubs, it kind of goes dormant a little bit, and then you get a lot of people that want to do it again. They're like, oh my gosh, this is a wave of people that say this is going to be great. We should really pour into it, and so here it comes back again, roaring back.
Yep, and Johnny Norman is the one who is the advisor now. So that's amazing that someone new is willing to take on the club and really, put the effort behind it to get that energy back up again.
I think sometimes you need new blood. You need a change in voice and opinion and thought and vision. And so, he's going to do a great job with it.
Yeah, that is awesome. More Women's History Month stuff, y'all. We got a lot of women's histoy stuff coming from LDCC.
That's the next day, the 13th, right?
On the
Okay.
13th.
Is this the only event on Thursday?
No, it is not. The other one's virtual at least, though.
Too easy.
Right, it would be way too easy. The Women's History Month panel is happening March 13th, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Ruston. So Ruston does this every year. Naja did a great job, for many years, and then Patience also come in taking it in stride because she loves stuff like this. And they usually get some really cool people that are sometimes LDCC alumni, or just really awesome people in the community to come and be a part of the women's panel and just talk about women's history, women's issues and success, just professional success in general, which is good. It's always good to be in those circles and just feel inspired.
I assume lunch will be served, right?
Oh yeah, we gonna eat. If nothing else, we're gonna eat, right?
No, really great event.
Yep. And then MLT has a couple of things this week, and y'all, we're nearing the end, thank goodness, because I don't think I can fit another thing on my calendar. But the LDCC MLT program is hosting a virtual open house at 5:30. So this is for anybody who might be interested in the, and that says Wednesday, but March 13th is Thursday, so I need to fix that. But make sure you register if you know someone who's interested in the MLT program. This is just a good way to find out more about it, what's it all about, and you get to talk to instructors, program coordinators, and it's all virtual, which is great. That means that someone who might be far away, who doesn't have a ride, they can just tune in and just plug into Delta.
Yes.
Very convenient medical lab technician program. I think we teased this last week too, and Dr. Jones, of course, running that show. And so, y'all, if you're interested and you want a career that's in high demand, you definitely want to tune in on 5:30 Thursday, March 13th.
And just a huge shout out to Dr. Jones for making this virtual and in the evening.
Yes.
So that reaches so many more people who might be working during the day. They have an opportunity to still participate at night and learn more about this program.
That is such a great point because, sometimes we don't think about that. And our schedules are, 8 to 4:30, so shout out to her for sure for putting in that extra time. And, the students, I think there's going to be students that are participating too, putting that extra time into not only recruitment, but just outreach in general. It's so awesome. Another thing that Dr. Jones has put together is the Allied Health Professionalism Seminar. Oh, wow. This is open to all allied health across LDCC. And this is one of those seminars that I feel like is so important for that program. First of all, it's something you can talk about and put on your resume, that you participated in this and it really helped you with your bedside manner or your, just professionalism at work in general. And Dr. Jones also got Jade Parker, who's a medical lab scientist, to come and present on this. So an expert who's out in the field, who does it every day, is going to come and share that wisdom. So that'll be March 14th at 10 a.m. and again, open to all allied health programs. So everybody should come and enjoy that wisdom that's going to be parted to them. But yeah, that was the last one. Thank goodness.
Is that it? For real?
Oh, wait. I think I have one more shout. Okay, this isn't an event. This is just a PSA. because this is what we do every time graduation is coming up. LDCC faculty and staff, if you haven't confirmed your attendance for graduation volunteering, please do. We need all hands on deck, right?
Yes.
It's spring graduation. That's big, the biggest one of the year, bigger than fall, even though our fall one was pretty big last year. But make sure you volunteer, sign up, and, we're going to come in and support our students. I want to see the staff section more full than it has ever been. That's my goal this year.
And really, we have 2 graduations that day, isn't that right?
Yes, I'm glad we have Kelsey with us here. We can hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yep. So you have 2 opportunities to actually serve and volunteer. The adult education graduation ceremony is that morning at 11 a.m. So you can come and you can watch our adult learners receive their high school equivalency their high school equivalencies.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry. And that's such an amazing experience, y'all, to see them have that first really hit of success and that meaningful certificate for them. And that just opens so many doors. So it's such an amazing experience to sit and watch and to be a part of that day, to sit and to talk to the graduates as they're lined up in the hallway.
Yeah.
And then also recruit for your programs here at Delta, too. Like, what an amazing, opportunity that is as well. So
yeah, I would confirm with what you're saying. It's been great to have adult ed in the room, in the building at Monroe. It's so easy to just reach out and talk to a student. And in fact, there's a lot of intermingling now where I'll talk to a student and I'm just assuming they're just a college student, and hey, how you doing? We get to talking about things, and then they say, well, I'm an adult ed, but I plan on coming to business, or I plan on coming to criminal justice, or I plan on coming.
And you're like, I'm your guy.
Yeah, so it's like, whether it's me or I can point you in the right direction, it just is seamless. And so again, kudos. I'm so glad that y'all are that work, everything's here, because it just makes it so much better, in my opinion.
And I will say also, the photographs that I get from the adult ed ceremony, I wasn't able to photograph this past one, but the past ones that I've been able to photograph, they're like some of my favorite pictures, because they're just like, people are like, like they can't contain their excitement, and it's just the most beautiful pictures, and I tear up every time. So y'all, we're gonna definitely get together and get some graphics going to encourage volunteering and all that good stuff, and we'll put it in the week at a glance as well.
Perfect.
So that we can get all the volunteers for that ceremony as well. It's just an all-day event. Just block off that whole Sunday,
right.
y'all. That's
Just
what I'm telling you.
Spend the day with Delta.
Take the early service at church, and then get up a little early. I know it's Sunday, but it's just one Sunday, and we need everybody, all of our Delta family there. Okay. That was it, y'all.
Yeah, that was a lot.
It was a lot. We have less in case you missed it, so let's go ahead and dig into it.
Your favorite. Oh my gosh, that's your favorite one.
It's just the
you want to be a DJ. I know.
In a past life.
Yeah, in a past life. Talking about what concert would you go to, no matter what time? Yeah, what would you do if you had another choice?
Yes,
right?
just DJ, spinning the records, whatever DJs do, for sure.
Right, whatever DJs do. They just go.
I just like the music, First of all, we had Read Across America Day last week, and it was so funny. I'll tell this story. I was in a state vehicle going to an event, and then there was someone coming back with an state vehicle. And so I look in there, and it was an interesting crew in there. It was Stephanie Wilkes, Clint Creech.
Where's this going?
And then Tamara in the car together. And I was like, where in the heck did they go? I was just curious, They went and read to students at Vallee Elementary. So that was where they were at. They were volunteering their time and giving back to the community for Read Across America Day. So there's some pictures of them, and they just looks like they had a ball just reading to the kiddos and just getting out and representing LDCC in a great way.
Again, community college for the community, outreach in the community. I mean, it doesn't get any better than Read Across America.
It really doesn't. Yeah. So great job, you guys. We are so proud of you. And we also had another community partnership that we have, which is such a bonus for student life here at Monroe, is Open Heart Productions. They are a local movie production company. And I just put in the week at a glance, like, Monroe Goes Hollywood, because I just think it's so cool that we have, like, you know, a movie production company. And so Julie Salter has led the charge, and Dennis as well, for, you know, they came to Comic-Con in that partnership, and now they're doing events together. You know, they're doing the movie night where they showed The Bogman, which I think they do, like, primarily kind of horror movies, but Julie says they're kind of, you know, cheesy horror movies.
Goofy.
So
B flicks.
yeah. And so that I didn't get to go to this event, but the pictures look like it was a hoot, and they got to watch the movie on the big screen at the ATC, which I know has been like a dream to have a movie night there for a long time.
It is,
yeah. So that's really cool.
And then they're supposed to be coming back to record, I think, at some point. Maybe is it this week or next week?
It's this week, and I don't think I got a chance to cover that, but the March 13th, I'm pretty sure they're coming to film, and they're going to let students be extras in a movie. So I think they're doing that in the theater, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm feeling like we're turning into a university. We have so much student life going on,
right?
So many events going on. I can't keep up. It's like, you know, what building of the, you know, what campus, which, you know, what region are we doing things in today? It's
LDCC Goes Hollywood. Like, we're just, crushing it at every turn.
So many things.
We also had, you know, more community stuff, a lot of community stuff, especially, and I'm surprised we had our Mardi Gras break last week, but we did have, you know, quite a few events. The PN Advisory Board meeting in Ruston happened, and that went very well. They had a really good turnout of community partners in Allied Health in the surrounding areas. They ate, and then they just talked about, like, nursing, practical nursing, what we can do better in our program, what we already are doing really great at our program. There were so many compliments, and just, like, coming together to talk about how we can better serve them.
Again, it's a testament to our community relationships, again, partnerships within the industry. But this is interesting because most of these advisory committee meetings as of late have been just campus-wide meetings, which means that all the programs on those campuses are talked about or served, or, you know, we have all these. But this particular event was just for PN.
Yeah.
And so that's saying something. That's a statement that we want to move in a positive direction over at the Ruston campus with LPN, and we want all those stakeholders in the area specifically for that program to take part and show us the way. And so that's a really great thing that that program specifically was being served in that capacity that day.
Really, 100%, yeah. And also, I am excited to talk about this. This is someone from your area, Kelsey. Lena Kelly got spotlighted as a remarkable woman from KTVE, and I had actually never met Miss Kelly before this encounter, but the news called, said they were coming, and so we're like, okay, let's meet up. And it will air on March 18th, so everybody mark your calendars to look out for Miss Kelly 18th. On the news.
Okay.
But tell us about Miss Lena. I just, she has been so sweet so far that I've met her.
Miss Kelly is truly a remarkable woman. She has been in adult education for years and years and years. And so she actually retired from the K-12 system, and then she did not want to stay retired. And so she came, and she's been working in adult ed ever since as a part-time instructor for us. And she's been here as long as I've been here, longer, than I've been here actually. But she does such a remarkable job with our students, and she is really their cheerleader, but she holds them, to the line, and she makes sure that they know what their expectations are in the classroom, which sets them up for success whenever they transition into post-secondary or into the workforce too. And so she provides that loving, person in the classroom to really motivate them and to keep them on track. And not to let them give up. But she also sets expectations for them, and you can do this, but this is how you need to do this, and helps build those skills that they need, those soft skills, to really be successful in the next step. So we are so blessed to have Miss Kelly on board with us here at Delta, and I hope that she stays forever with us.
Yes.
You got to love that when you feel that strongly about a person. It's like, just don't leave us, okay? We need you here. I love that statement. Thank you.
I think it was 50 some odd years, she said, of experience in teaching, and I was so shocked by that. But she, so amazing. You wouldn't be able to tell it. She's just so energetic and passionate about what she does, and that really showed in the interview. Something I wanted to mention, the interview was done by also a Delta student,
Really?
Maya Holloway.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
she's in liberal arts. She's doing general studies right now, but she goes to LDCC Monroe. So they got paired together to do this, and I just thought I was like, Delta is everywhere. Like, look at this. This is so cool.
That's going to be the new tagline. Delta is everywhere.
Yes.
And so she was so sweet, and the interview went so well. And I also wanted to mention that Miss Kelly had talked about how, you know, she had volunteered and worked at the African American History Museum here in town, and then also her quilting, which was a big part of. You know, I'm like, we need to get her to bring her quilts up here. I want to see.
So was her quilt not hanging in her classroom still?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, she must have taken it down. So she brings her quilt up here every year and teaches based off of that for Black History Month.
Oh, wow.
And it is an amazing, amazing experience. Every single square on there and every little detail has a meaning to it. And so I know that I would not ever do it justice like she does. So really we would need to get her on here and have her explain all of the meaning of that quilt. And she just does a phenomenal job of relating that history to the students. And in her quilt work, I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
Now I have to see this thing.
Yeah, that is so cool.
She needs to keep it up year round. You know?
We need to. I think she gives it to the museum, you know, for parts of the year too. So we need to get her and like do a video of that because that sounds like such a beautiful thing to witness. But yeah, congratulations, Miss Lena. We're so excited about this, and we can't wait to see on March 18th. You know, your segment that's going to go live. He said it would be live all day, not live all day, but broadcasted all throughout the day on March 18th. So whether you get up at 5 a.m. to watch the news or you're up at 10 p.m. watching the news, you should be able to catch it. So
more likely I'll be up at 10 than up at 5.
Hey, this crew that, you know, we were dragging a little this morning. I'm not surprised. Oh. All right, some more community outreach. The Warren Central Career Fair. We had student success navigators Trayvon Williams and Stacy Sandage. They got together, partnered up to be at Warren Central for the career fair and had a booth and just spread the word about LDCC. So that was awesome. And I think Liz Ford might have been there as well. She sent the pictures, but yeah, it was. I always love to see us at career fairs. You know, you remember being a kid and like checking out all the options. And I still have like vivid memories and think about those, you know, different booths to this day. Like, I wonder if that's still a thing and if I can still do that. So yeah, I always get excited when we see our student success navigators out.
And again, LDCC everywhere, right? That goes to show you. I feel like there's a career fair or some type of opportunity for us to do outreach, or you know, just hey, we're here, you know, and come see us. We have a bunch of great programs. We're always out in the community, either spreading the word, spreading the gospel of LDCC, or giving back in some way. So it's a really great thing.
Well, and it's really meeting the students where they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Not expecting them to do the legwork. It's, no, let us come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I concur.
It's the service, our heart and attitude that I just love so much here about LDCC. Speaking of which, we're about to dig into, you know, Kelsey Vallee, you know, who she is, and really, you know, find out her journey through to LDCC and at LDCC, because you have a service heart, in my opinion. I feel like you really embody that mission here. So
take a deep breath, Kelsey.
Yes,
here it comes.
You're in the hot seat. So we're about to get into it.
I was like, all right, let's ask the tough questions.
Right.
No,
we're like sitting up straight.
And we're so honored to have you on. Thank you for taking time out of your day. We know you are super busy, especially with your new title. Am I going to get this right? Executive Director of Adult Ed and Workforce, or is it the opposite? Workforce and Adult Ed?
It's Adult Education and Workforce Initiatives.
Yes.
Boom. See, there you go.
Hey, the longer the title, the more more you got on your plate, right?
Right.
So, first of all, just tell us, you know, where you're from, you know, where you grew up. What was your upbringing like?
Yeah, so I actually grew up in Knowlton, Louisiana, and so for those of you that do not know where that is, it is a teeny tiny farming town in Tensall Parish. I went to Tensall Academy. My parents farmed. My dad's actually still farming right now, and so I grew up, you know, in a really small community. Farming was the main industry there. You either farmed or you taught or you work at a bank, and that's really what you've got in Tensall Parish right now.
Yep.
Although they're having a huge revitalization of St. Joseph, which is right there on Lake Bruin. So if you ever have the chance to go, I highly suggest you go check that out. I went to college at Northwestern State University, and I absolutely loved it there. I graduated high school with a class of 10, and so I knew that I was not going to be the person that needed to go to LSU with a class of like several hundred people.
Small fish, big pond.
So Northwestern was absolutely perfect. You know, my class sizes ranged from like 30, was really kind of the average number of people in a class, depending on which class it was. I dated my husband, you know, through high school and then college, and we married young.
Aww,
so
high school sweetheart.
Yes. So we have been married for 13 and a half years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We have 2 kids, Thomas, he's 12, and then James, he's 10. We now live in Winsboro, and so we're really excited to be residents of Franklin Parish. We moved back in 22, I guess, to Franklin Parish. We had been in Tensall, you know, for the previous 10 or so years. And so we moved in 22, but I worked at Delta, started in 2016.
What were you doing back in 2016 at LDCC, Kelsey, Vallee?
So I started as a JAG specialist on the Winsboro campus.
Wow.
Yes. I wasn't in that position very long, and then I transitioned into a adult ed instructor. And this was back when we were on the old campus in Winsboro, before we moved into the new one on Highway 15.
Wow.
We were still back over on Warren Street, the old location. And so I taught from, I guess, late 2016 until 2019. And then I moved into the online world of adult education. I helped build our current online program for our adult learners at Delta. And so I ran that program for a couple of years, still based off of the Winsboro campus, because, you know, at that time I was still living in Knowlton, and it was already a 45-minute drive to work.
Yeah.
Right, no need to extend that any longer.
Yeah, let's not tack on another 45 minutes.
And our kids go to school there. They've always started, they went to Family Community Christian School, or FCCS, in Winsboro. And so I wanted to stay close and be, you know, near where they were. Then in 2022, I got promoted to the Director of Adult Education. And so that was a very interesting transition from, you know, being an instructor and in the classroom to now leading the division and learning the whole ins and outs of adult education. You know, I knew my role as an instructor, but learning the backside of administration and then also grant management, you know, that was huge.
Yeah.
It was big, and it was a learning curve. I can't tell you how many hours I spent learning Microsoft Excel. And so that was, you know, Ryan, I know I've reached out to you for some help on some things before with Excel, and let me tell you, that's not easy. Trying to figure out all the formulas in there and getting it to auto-populate and man.
But now you're an expert, and now you could teach me some things, I bet.
But now we've got it. Now we've got it down pretty much. And so that's been a really amazing experience, because I get to see a different side of it, and I get to be a little creative, you know, in what we're doing and reaching out to new students and new ways and new communities. One of the things that we did last year that we piloted was Saturday boot camps for our high set program. And we had never done that before. And so that was awesome, being able to offer that opportunity to students, because they may work during the day. You know, and they might have shift work, and it's really crazy. And then having to worry about picking their kids up from school or getting them to school. And so Saturdays were, you know, a chance for them to really go to school, and then throughout the rest of the week they could do like an online portion of that.
I'm going to ask you a tough question here. As a leader, sometimes it's difficult, I know, to impart some new ideas. How did you get the buy-in from your people who were the ones boots on the ground teaching? I'm assuming you did some teaching too on Saturdays, but if not, certainly you had some people that were volunteering their time or, you know, shifting their work schedule around to make that happen. How'd you get that buy-in to happen?
Well, actually, we had we had some instructors that were really excited about this.
Because they know their students.
They know their students. And this class was offered at, not at one of our campuses. It was at one of our external campuses, the West Monroe Community Center. Mm-hmm. And so it was right there. There were students within walking distance that could really take part and capitalize on this opportunity.
Yeah.
But I always want to put our instructors up for the best chance of success, too. And so instead of asking them to take away from their normal hours where they had normal students, making sure that we had the funds available to offer, adjunct pay for our instructors. Yeah. And that way that gave them a little something extra, but they didn't have to sacrifice the time in the classroom with their normal students, because one thing you'll learn about our adult ed instructors is their students are their heart. Mm-hmm. And they want to do what's best by their students. And, having to cancel class and change a class schedule during the week was just not going to work, because that meant that they were leaving behind some of those other students that they already had in their classroom. And so being able to offer that opportunity where they're still able to serve their normal students, but also then pick this up and serve new students in a different capacity, that's what made this a really meaningful, initiative. And we're excited, and we're looking forward to offering it again this year.
Awesome.
Possibly moving it to a different location, maybe to the Monroe campus as well. We don't have that all set in stone yet, but we're really trying to be creative and offer things at different times in different capacities or modalities for our students.
Excellent. Wow.
That's awesome.
Great deal.
I wanna back up a little bit, because you have a passion for education. Mm-hmm. That is just super clear to anybody who encounters you. And, with your upbringing, being in the South, being, kind of more rural, I'm just, I want to ask, where does your passion for education come from? Is it, a role model in your life, or just tell me more about that?
So I never planned on being a teacher.
That's usually how it goes, right? Yeah.
I thought that when I was in high school, I was going to be a NICU nurse, and that is what I went to Northwestern, convinced that I was going to do, because I loved babies. I always have. Every chance that I had growing up, I was going to babysit, and I was going to have a little kid around me. I got to Northwestern, and I got into nursing school, and I quickly realized that just really was not for me.
Is it that you don't like the sight of blood or anything like that?
It's not the sight of blood, but I have always been a great student. And the first class that really ever humbled me, and I mean it humbled me.
And for someone who's like, you're like teacher's pet, like getting all the good grades and stuff, that's rough. That's a rough thing to go
through. It was an anatomy lab class.
Oh, yeah.
So I had anatomy lecture, and then I had the lab. I had an A in my lecture class. Like, I had it. Like, I knew it.
No problem.
But the lab class was like a 3.5-hour class, 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And, like, you had to go in, and, like, there was, like, just dents on the side of the skull that they all had different names. And I was like, how are you keep up with all of this?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, like, this is I got to reevaluate something here, because it was not clicking.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful I had the self-awareness enough at that point to realize.
Stop while you're ahead. Yeah.
That this was really not going to work, I don't think, for me. And so I took a step back. I had an amazing advisor at college, and I ended up switching my degree to family and consumer science with a specialization in child development and family relations.
Okay.
And I absolutely loved it.
Wow.
And then I minored in social sciences. So really kind of the social work piece of it. I took some of those select classes to really figure out how best to help our children in our parishes. And I think one reason I was so passionate about that is growing up in a very rural community that is a very highly impoverished area, and seeing the educational status of that parish was really meaningful. And that would be a way that I could make a difference. If I could, set the love of learning for young people, that's what changes the future of a community. And so that's really where my area my concentration really shifted. Once I graduated and we moved back to Tensall, I went and I worked at Tensall Elementary there for a year as a second grade teacher. And, you know, I love kids, but I realized I don't think teaching kids is really what I loved either. But to this day, if you ask my husband or like any of my friends, like, give me the baby, give me the baby, and I'll love on it. I will babysit them all the time, anytime you need. But I really kind of transitioned out that year, and I went to the LSU Ag Center, and I was a nutrition educator there. And that is where I started interacting with adults and teaching adults. So in that job, I had to work in the K-12 systems too, teaching the kids. And that was fun. You had all the fun activities. You had to play with them with food and teach them how to cook little things and eat healthy. But then I got to do that with the parents. And that's where I was like, this is where the difference is really being made. Like, because kids can't go and they can't grocery shop. They can't cook on their own, or, you know, dear God, I hope they're not having to cook on their own at home. You know, but the parents is where the difference is really made. And so that's where I really started, like, this is where it's at. Like, this is what I love, is working with these adults. And so I was doing that, and at that time, I was having to drive to Vidalia every day from Newellton. And if you've ever driven, you know, that road, you know, that is not the best drive.
Right.
It is not.
It's all on the commute, you know?
And so I just kind of started looking, and my interest had shifted, and I was looking for opportunities where I could use some of my skills that I had, and I could start teaching adults. And that's when I found the JAG position at Delta. And, you know, once I got there, I was like, this is it. Like, I don't ever want to leave. Like, this is what I love doing, and this is what I always want to do. So.
But it always happens that people that are great at what they do get called for other things, get called for higher positions. And so it started at Delta with JAG, and then it's just been a rocket ship ever since. So that's been great to see as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that you know, as someone else who's from a rural area, you know, education really is, you know, it starts at the home, but then also is education, kind of, you know, raising someone and making them who they are. And so in the rural areas, you know, sometimes there's a disconnect because of a lack of resources, right? And so I think it's so perfect that you're in this position now where you're able to, you know, be in the room where those decisions are being made about rural areas with that perspective. That's so important. I am gathering also that family is very important to you.
It is.
Right? And I just, you know, tell us about your family. Tell us about, you know, your little bunch, and just what it's like to be a mom and have, you know, raising your own kids while you spent so much time about, you know, studying, like, about family dynamics.
So being a wife and a mother, that is my number one job, you know, always. That will always come first, no matter what. And it has been such a joy getting to raise our two boys. And look, I grew up with two sisters. I did not have brothers. I had no idea about boys other than just, you know, I had classmates that were boys. And let me tell you, when it was just a culture shift, and, like, I mean, it was a rude awakening when I had little boys and learning about
You're
all
like,
of
I'm the only
things.
woman in the house. Like, what is
and I'm
going
completely
on?
outnumbered.
I'm sorry. That must have been rough.
But my boys absolutely love their mama. And it is such a special relationship to have, you know, my two boys, and to see them growing up into young men. I mean, Thomas is 12, and he is taller than me at 12.
Wow.
So that dynamic has now shifted, and I'll be 100% honest, that has not been an easy dynamic for me, because I just want to keep them little.
Right. It's like, oh, they're actually going to grow up and be their own people and adults. And
So he's now taller than me, and I'm now, like, my eyes are having to look up at him. And I'm like, you cannot do that. And I'm looking up with my finger.
Right.
Like, you got to be smarter than this, bud. But Thomas is he's the quieter version. He looks just like his daddy. Like, I had nothing to do with the gene pool with Thomas. Looks just like Hunter. he acts more or less like me. So Hunter is the more outgoing person in our relationship. He never meets a stranger. He's the, hey, let's go do this. And I'm like, I just want to read my book on the couch.
Introvert.
Do we have to?
Right.
And once I'm there, I'm fine. But it takes a little motivation to get there. And that's much more Thomas. Now, James, he is our little mischievous, like outgoing, never meets a stranger. We go to the ballparks during the summer. Everybody knows Baby James. They're all calling out to him. Like,
he's like community kid, social kid. Yeah.
He is the guy, and it's hilarious. But we are very involved with our kids, and, you know, Hunter and I talk all the time, and it is stressful, you know, managing our jobs and, you know, our home and our farm, because we also farm too. We have cattle that we have. And
you guys stay very, very busy.
We do. But we only have our kids at home for so long.
That's so
and
true.
So we are really enjoying the stage of where we are with our kids. And, you know, for years I helped coach their basketball league at school. Hunter helped coach their baseball in summer, like Dixie ball in the summertime. We also are very involved in 4-H, and they do the livestock project in 4-H.
Yeah.
And so that is very much a family project. And funny story, that's actually how Hunter and I met in high school, was showing cows in 4-H.
That's beautiful.
That's incredible.
I love it.
And so, that's very much a family history for us too, because all of Hunter's family grew up showing cows. His grandfather did, his dad, his aunts and uncles, and then he did, and his sisters. And then also my side of the family did as well. My dad showed cows, and then I did, and then now our kids do. And
Tradition.
so it's a tradition, but it instills such good values in your kids, from work ethic, learning where your food comes from, how to take care of an animal, how to do it ethically, and then, you know, also about the grass and the hay and nutrition.
The science behind it.
They learn so much in that project, and also meeting other kids and other families all across the state that have those same values and ethics too is really important for us too. So being able to do that project with our kids as well, you know, it takes all of us. They can't go out there and, you know, at 10 years old and wrangle a 1,200-pound cow by themselves without supervision.
I can't do that now. I'm not even going to tell you how old I am.
Wow. So that's been really special for us. And so we really just try to soak up all of these moments with them, because, like I said, Thomas is 12 and James is 10, and their birthdays are next month in April. So they're getting another year older. And so, you know, we had a realization the other day of, oh man, we probably should be saving for a truck right now, because that's going to be coming here soon.
Coming up. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that, and especially like the 4-H. That's such a cool project to me. I've always loved 4. I used to work at the LSU Ag Center as well, and so I was all up in the cattle shows, like taking pictures and just seeing those kids. You see the 6-year-old girl walk out like with a big old cow, and it's just like, this is my dairy cow, and then you show the cow. It's precious, and so such a cool thing. You know, you juggle a lot, is what I'm learning, and you know, as like just a woman, you know, in like the professional world, especially, you know, coming to Monroe and with your new gig and all that. I know whenever people say your secret to success or like the key to success, you know, there's no like one secret to success. But if you had to say, you know, what was your one secret or just one quality that you try to embody that you think has led to your success and happiness in life, what is that?
For those of you that don't know me, too, my faith is very important to me. And I can 100% sit here and say that if I had not had the relationship with God that I've had over, you know, the last, for years and years and years, but really over the last couple of years where, you know, we had some struggles at home too. My husband's health was difficult for, you know, about a year and a half, and he had some surgery, and it was just a really difficult time all during some of this transition into my role in leadership. But God is what gave me the strength and what always gives me the strength, you know, and being able to have that faith and that trust and that love, because, you know, our pastor Kevin, he talked this week about your worth, right? Your worth does not come from anybody here on this earth. It comes from God. He determines what your worth is, and you just have to, you know, place your trust in God and take advantage of your ability and what God has given you. And I can sit here and say that if it was not for him, you know, there is no way that I would be able to do all of the things that we do, right? Because life is scary, transition is scary, your kids growing up and facing that new reality is scary. But you've got faith that it's all going to work out in the end, and you put all your worries, all your stress, everything over to him and surrender it. And then that makes everything so much easier here for us on earth. And then, of course, I just have an amazing support system, too, that has helped me along the way. You know, I did my master's degree completely online.
Yeah.
And so
that's a whole other thing, right? You know, Ryan's doing his schooling online right now, too.
It is. And so, like, you know that you have to have that support at home to be able to do that. And so my husband really picked up the slack during those years. But I'm also very thankful for how my story played out, because my kids also got to witness that. And they got to see me at home sitting on the couch with my computer and
Working
my textbooks, you know, working on my education. And so they had that, and they see that as an example for, it doesn't always have to look cookie cutter. You don't have to go to a 4-year, get your degree, then transition to a master's degree, and then go to work, right? Everybody's story looks different, and it's never too late. It's never too late to, you know, pursue your dream, and you can make it happen as long as you're willing to put in the work and the sacrifices too, and seeing that. So I think that was a really important lesson for our kids to see too. And for other people to know, right? Just because you didn't go to college right after high school, that doesn't mean that you can't go to college, right? You're just going to do it a little different. But that's what makes life fun, and that's what makes everybody unique, is everybody's story is different.
Wow. I love that. And it made me think of this Lainey Wilson quote where she says, if you're a dreamer, you better be a doer. Yeah. Right. And that I have it hanging up in my office right now, because it's so true. You know, have all the dreams in the world and put the work behind them to make them happen. Yes. I want, before we, you know, end this segment, which has been amazing. You're like the most easy person to interview in the entire world. This has been perfect.
Sit back and just listen.
Yes. And I'm just loving it. I could interview all day, but for, you know, your department and what you're doing here now at Delta, is there anything you want to talk about, anything exciting coming up, or even just people you want to shout out? You know, let us hear it.
Oh, goodness. So for adult ed, we are doing a new program structure. We're really excited about having enrollment management. So our classes start today for our new 8-week session. So really shout out to all of our instructors that have transitioned to the new program, because it has not been an easy process. You know, when you completely change the entire structure of your program, it's difficult. Change is scary. You know, I said that a second ago. But without them and without their buy-in, this never would be possible. And so it's really important to create these opportunities for our students, to give them the flexibility that they need to be able to come to school and to meet them where they are. So really a kudos to all of my instructors who have put in the work and they've made those changes, because they are who are doing the important work every single day and making the difference in our students' lives. And then for workforce, we're having new classes all the time.
Yes. And a new staff lined up too, you know, Miss Catherine Middlebrook and Anicia Hardman and Anna Claire as well.
Yes. So we have a new admin staff in our workforce division. It's really exciting. You know, we're learning together, because I be honest, I don't know all the ins and outs of Banner. So I'm sitting right there and I'm asking questions and I'm learning with them. And so, you know, we're just really excited about the possibilities that we have in workforce. We have an amazing group of instructors in the workforce division too, who are, you know, industry experts at what they do, and they never say no. Like they are always like, let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, y'all know we have amazing people here at Delta, whether it's in adult ed, it's in workforce, it's in business and technology. Like we have a phenomenal, we have phenomenal people that are here at Delta, and they are who make our Delta world spin.
That is correct. I agree wholeheartedly. It's the people on the ground floors. It's the people that are, in the classroom. I mean, that's what makes it all work. So yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Absolutely. We cannot thank you enough for coming, and getting to know you on the Morning Blend has been awesome. We had, people tune in, more people tune in later, and, get to know our new Director of Workforce Initiatives and Adult Education. And I think I flipped that, but
That's all right.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Oh, thank y'all for having me. This is fun.
It was really fun. We have one more segment, our Monday morning motivation. We call it our segment, and we're going to get into it.
That says feature.
Y'all just imagine it's a Monday morning motivation.
Is there
okay?
another one? Wait, let's go to the next one.
All right, wait.
Let's
Here
do
we
it
go.
right.
And
There we go.
there we go. All right.
So lately I've been feeling like the guests that we've had on, they are the Monday morning motivation.
They really are.
So I felt like, this is going to be an excellent interview, so it's not going to be much that I'm going to have to say, but it's interesting that we talked about some things, and you had a quote, I think you said, from Lainey Wilson. What was that quote again?
If you're a dreamer, you better be a doer.
So we didn't plan this. We didn't pre-plan this, but the quote I found this morning was not hers, but it says, every morning you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. So there's that dream motif again.
That's
and we didn't even talk about this, right?
Wow. Monday morning motivation magic, right?
Yes,
like
that is.
magic.
and if you think about it, when you look at that, every morning you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. I mean, it's obvious that we have a responsibility to ourselves, to our loved ones, to our communities, to make an impact. And we can be unconscious sometimes to our dreams sometimes, which is kind of scary because we don't pay attention enough. We're just kind of going through life and we're thinking, okay, just make it to the next thing. But dream a little dream and then go for it. And then it actually reminded me of a song. The song title escapes me right now, but the last couple of lines in the song says, the night is just the sun's opening act, so it goes out with a bang before the light shines through. Drop down to my knees and made a vow to the sun that as long as you keep rising, then I will too.
Oh, wow.
And that stuck
poetic.
with me. So I was like, as we were talking about these things and we're adjusting for daylight savings time, we're welcoming this transition period. It's springtime, or we're getting close to that. We're talking about dreams. We're talking about just being alive and well and doing the great things that God has put us on this planet to do.
Right.
Those are the things that came to mind, and so that's what I wanted to share as the motivation. Let's keep rising. Let's keep doing what we're called to do.
That's perfect. That ties it in so perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Ryan. Okay.
Trying.
I like it.
Not my words. I had to find other people's words, but it worked out.
I love it. I think it's spring. Let's go and get it. Let's go after our dreams and find success and just work really hard. I think with the daylight savings, it's a hard lesson that they're trying to teach us.
That's right.
Oh, thank y'all so much for tuning in today. This has been an awesome episode of the Morning Blend, and we hope y'all have a great busy week. It's really busy, but y'all are gonna have a great week. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see y'all next time.
Awesome. Bye.
Okay, we're clear.
That was amazing. You did a good job. I hope you weren't nervous.